Good evening, everyone. Country Flyboy here in part 2 of our trip to whatever town we're heading to. I can't remember. So we just went to Little John, talked to the officers for a bit, and we are ready to get back on the road. We'll be completing this run tonight. Let's turn our headlights on and get going. Alright, brakes off. And we'll pick up the conversation where we left off. I remember where it was. It's Gunslinger Girl. So let's get on the highway and then we'll talk Gunslinger Girl. And by the way, you can take that one at face value. You can judge a book by its cover with that one, with that name. Or judge a book by its title with that name, I should say. Because Gunslinger Girl is exactly what you're going to get with that show. Girls that sling guns. Doesn't look like anyone's coming. Let's go. Alright, so Gunslinger Girl. Gunslinger Girl is my third anime, and I really need to split this up into two parts, even though I consider them one and the same. There is Gunslinger Girl 1, the first Gunslinger Girl, and then there is Gunslinger Girl El Tetrino, I think is how you pronounce it, and that is the second season, essentially. I'm going to try not to spoil anything, because it is worth watching. But if you are an anime fan, do know this is a bit different from what you may be used to. This anime is a lot slower paced than a lot of other shows are. It actually plays more like a spy thriller than anything else. It's definitely worth the watch, though. Let's see if we can get around this truck. So, Gunslinger Girl, as its name suggests, is a show about girls and gunslinging. I mean, this one also has realistic depiction of fights, save for a few instances where bullets don't seem to go through that. Look, there's an instance, first episode, where Henrietta, my second favorite character in the show, and the main character of the show, is shooting her P90 at some bad guys. And they're taking cover behind a dining table, or just a card table. And the bullets aren't going through it. Now, she is shooting a little high, so she wouldn't be hitting them anyway, because they're lower under the cover. But the table is somehow stopping the bullets from a P90. P90 is not the biggest bullet in the world, but a wooden table's not going to stop it. So, other than that, though, the show is actually pretty good. The girls got the sun coming up over there. The girls actually do spend a lot of time at the gun range practicing, and with their skill level, you would have to. So they got that right. To be that good, you actually spend more time practicing than you do using your skills. And my favorite part about it, all the guns are real. Every single gun in that show is real. And not only real, they use the real names, makes, and models. It was so nice to see that. They got the actual licenses to use the real guns in that show. And it's got some tense moments in it. Now, unfortunately, the reason it's not higher on the list is because it was a bit scared to take the harder ground, I guess I should say. It was hesitant to do things that would have made the show a lot better and a lot more suspenseful. The reason being, I know why, is because they wanted to stick to the manga. Yeah, it's a show that came from a manga, which usually with shows like this, they tend to stick to a certain arc from the manga, and they either do an alternate version of it, or they just have an anime version of the manga. And they chose just to do the anime version, but I think they really should have gone with alternate version instead of just an anime depiction. I mean, there were instances where it is heavily suggested that a character dies. In fact, that's how Season 1 ended. It is heavily suggested that a character dies. And I cannot stress how minor of a spoiler this is. She did not die. She did not die. She comes back in Season 2. Even though it is highly suggested that she died. And that irked me. It would have been so much better if she had stayed dead. And they did the same thing with the end of season 2 with a different character. But at least with that, though, it was, they wrapped it up in that same season. You didn't get to the end of the season and find out, thinking she died, and then find out in the next season she lived. At least this one, they said, oh, no, she lived in the same season. Still would have been better if she had died, though. And the second season, the character they should have killed off is actually my favorite character, so I'm not just saying that because I think, you know, death is better. I see that a lot with people these days, like, particularly young, impressionable people who have been watching Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, and people have gotten a bit cynical. It's almost like there's no other way to get suspense or shocking value out of a story these days except to kill people, is what they think. It's like modern shows these days, they don't have their big realization moment. I mean, you don't have to kill off half your cast to have a good show. Game of Thrones. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I remember seeing a comment on a review of Wreck-It Ralph, of all movies. Somebody saying this movie would have been better if Ralph had died. No, it wouldn't have. The movie was just fine by itself. I mean, okay, if you read between the lines, it's got a bit of a classist message, but that's not the message they were trying to portray. That's just sort of a message of the formula they used to write the script, because it's not a very original story in Wreck-It Ralph. It's a formulaic story, but that's fine because we care more about the world building in Wreck-It Ralph. Ooh, chugga look at choo-choo. Hold on, air horn. Blow your horn too, man. People who work in the transportation industry, unite. Actually 8 high would be better, wouldn't it? Yeah, the story in Wreck-It Ralph would not have been better if Ralph had died. It probably would have been worse, actually. It's a good thing that Ralph lives. Because, again, you don't need to kill off your cast to have a good show. And it just sort of irked me that someone's like, you are clearly someone who thinks that Walking Dead is good writing. It's not. It's terrible. But it just irked me. Anyways, Gunslinger Girl. Definitely recommend it. Very, very good show. Again, I'm not too afraid of spoiling Gunslinger Girl. And the reason I said earlier that character coming back to life in Season 2 is a minor spoiler is because she didn't do shit in Season 2. That's what irked me the most. There was no reason for her to live at all. No reason for her to live at all. I was just thinking, that sign is a little too close to that bridge. You'd have a split second to read it. Because she does nothing in Season 2 that could not have been done by a new character. And there are plenty of characters in that show that they could have used. Oh, he's gonna let me over. Thank you. Flash my tail lights at him. Now watch, that Prius is gonna outrun us now. Anyway, there's a slow-moving truck in front of him anyway, so it's okay. We'll get around both of them. Voice cracked for a second there. Oh, crap. We got a problem. We gotta get over. Come on, car. Let us in. Alright. I was wanting you to accelerate, but that works too. I didn't realize our exit was coming up. Anyway, what comes after Gunslinger? And I put Gunslinger Girl Season 1 and Season 2 El Tetrino on the same level on the top 5 list of favorite animes. What's number 4, pray tell? Number 4, I sort of keep bouncing around number 4. Because as of right now, my favorite show in the number 4 spot is Girls Unpanzer. And it's a bit different from the shows we've had. I mean, Maria the Virgin Witch, Fate Zero, and especially Maria the Virgin Witch, but not any less Fate Zero and Gunslinger Girl. Those are all pretty serious shows with serious undertones and serious stories. But you know, Girls in Panzer, you know, one of these things is not like the other on this list. Girls in Panzer is one of my favorites because it's all these animes that I'm talking about. They have all come from another source. They weren't 100% original. So Gunslinger Girl came from a manga. Fate Zero came from, what was it, a visual novel? And I think Maria the Virgin Witch might be entirely an anime. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. It might be a manga. I can't remember. But Girls in Panzer, I know for sure, is a show that came about 100% to be an anime. There wasn't a manga or game or anything like that beforehand. The anime was first. And let me describe this one for you here. Cute little schoolgirls in their cute little schoolgirl uniforms driving 50-ton war machines. If that doesn't at least make you raise your eyebrow and go, okay, that's creative, that's halfway interesting, then you're just not human. Because how can you not be interested in that? And the world they live in, the town they live in, is not a town, it's an aircraft carrier. It's a huge aircraft carrier that they live on, and that is cities in that world. Are you getting off? Yeah. I was gonna let you on, but apparently you're just moving over. How can you not find that interesting? I mean, really. It's the animations in it are very good. They really captured the tanks, and they use the real tanks and real strategies from World War. They're using all World War II tanks, although some modern tanks like the Abrams does make an appearance. It doesn't get really used in the show, except for like one scene where an instructor comes flying out of the sky in one. So the tank main featured was the Panzer, I believe, is the one that they drive. The main character drives. You really just go watch that show because it's definitely worth watching. One thing I am looking forward to in the map update is hopefully they will make these exits a little bit bigger. Because man, oh man, is that like not a lot of time to slow the truck down. The exits in real life are bigger. They don't just yank down like that. I mean, we only have like 50 yards maybe here between the highway and the start of the off-ramp there. That's no time at all. Especially when you're coming down from interstate speed. So yeah, Girls in Panzer, definitely watch it. The animations in it are very good. The tanks are excellently modeled and excellently animated. The girls pop in and out of them all the time. It really does feel like they took great care in this show to make everything look pretty. Is our drop-off already that close? And last on the list is, you probably figured this one from now, Idolmaster. Now, Idolmaster is up there mostly because I just can't think of any other shows, aside from maybe Death Note, that I think are good enough to have me put them on the list with the rest of these really, really good shows. Idolmaster is on there because it's the show that gave me my waifu. Yeah, I got a waifu. I've said that before. I know I have. And you probably already know who it is, the lovely Shahaya Kisiargi, whose picture I use as a logo all over the place. Yep, she's my waifu, my one and only. Over the line a bit on there. I thought we were going to get a ticket for a second. And that's really the only reason Idolmaster is on that list, because Idolmaster as a show is not really Like, it's not bad. It's not a bad show, but it doesn't really do anything amazing either. It's just sort of average. I mean, as far as shows go. There's a few gut punch moments in it, though. It's in there largely because Shahai is in it, and Shahai is my waifu, and I have to give it something for that. So that is my list of top 5 anime. That was nice. When we do our American Truck Simulator road trip in the car, I'll have to think of something else to talk about for 2 episodes. I know I didn't mention each and every show. There's a lot more I would love to talk about with them. I just don't want to spoil any of them. They're all really good. And they're worth all of those. I mean, it's my top 5 list. All of them are really good, and they're worth going into them with as little pre-knowledge as possible. Light gonna turn green any day now. Or is this one of those lights that take forever? Oh, they didn't even give me a green arrow. Son of a bitch. Is it 12? Yeah, okay, it's 11:30, so that's the loan getting paid out. Now, these Bittman drop-offs are always freaking difficult, especially with lowboy trailers. Now, for those of you playing American Truck Sim and don't know how the turning lane works in the US, here's how. Just get in it some distance before your turn, and you can turn left or get back in the right lanes out of the turning lane. This is sort of a bi-directional lane, by the way. So cars coming the other way will get in this lane as well. You sort of have to work together to figure out how to not run into one another. Okay, this Bittman drop-off doesn't look too terrible, actually. Plenty of room to maneuver. Alright, that mod that added the cones instead of the big flashing green sign earlier, that is going to be shown again here. I'm going to park it real quick. You don't see anywhere we're supposed to drop off, do you? There's no big green flashing thing, though this is the first time I've been to this drop-off, and I kind of wish there was. Let's see here. It's over there somewhere. Okay, let's drive over there. I think we should have enough room to turn the truck around. Over there, anyway. It looks like we're gonna have to back it in, but it's where I think it is. I'm trying to go this way, because we might have to turn the truck around here. I'm trying to see where they want it, because there's no big green indicator anymore. If they want it where I think they want it. They want it over there next to the roller? I think they want it over there between those shipping containers. I'm pretty sure that's where they want it. I don't see anywhere else it could go. It's got to be over there. Alright, so we're going to have to turn the truck around here. Alright, about jackknife this darn thing. Alrighty here. These lowboy trailers are a pain in the butt. Looks like if we pull it in right there, though, we should be able to back it in without too much of a problem. Alright, you really gotta go. The best way to park these lowboys is to just go slow, take your time, try to stay ahead of the trailer. Those wheels on the trailer are so far back, this thing really does swing. The good thing about this trailer, though, is you can sort of almost, what's the word? Almost crowbar it in there where you get the wheels in position and then just the wheels stay stationary and you push the front part in. You can almost do that with these trailers without using the trailer brake in a way. I do not like how small that mirror is. I really have no idea where the fucking trailer is on that side. Alright, we should start turning it in now. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the truck here, put it in park. We're going to get out and see what we're looking at here. Alright, yeah, if I continue that way, we should be good. Alright, let's keep pushing her back. Alright, now we follow the trailer around. The trailer doesn't turn as much once you start following it. So I want to try and get it at the angle I want it mostly before I start following the trailer around. I really cannot see shit. Looks like it's going in there though. Ooh, you are close. You're gonna scratch my paint. I forgot that trailer was there. Alright, let's stop here real quick. And before we go any further, yes, I was right. This is where they want it. Alright. Alright, we need to conquer more that way. It's an interesting drop-off. I've never been to this one before. I mean, as far as a Bittman drop-off goes, this one's pretty easy, though. I mean, the one like the one where we picked up, freaking impossible with this trailer. I really can't see the parking markings anymore. But you know, driving a truck ain't easy. Alright, we need to get it more over to the left. But we got plenty of room, we can just bring it forward. Get her nice and straight on there. It's a little off, but we'll fix that in the backup. Right, turn it that way. Back the other way a little bit. Get the back wheels right on that line. Put it in park. Now here's the key. I have to actually bring this up to see if it's in the right spot, because it doesn't. I don't hear a ding or anything telling me that it's in the right spot. Go ahead and unload it. All right, we arrived 14 hours ahead of the bare minimum. We should make 15,800 off this job. Let's disconnect the trailer. Excellent. Clip the audio a bit there. We are now level 21 and working our way to level 22. I need to look for that Mack Titan again, see if that mod's been updated, because I really want that truck. It's a truck I've never driven, and we're getting close to the level you would need to be at to buy it. Alright, see, there's the lovely Shahaya. She's my waifu, the one and only. Anywho, that's going to do it for this video. That was a two-parter driving from Los Angeles, where our company is located, to Sierra Vista. Next job? Who knows? Maybe I'll do the road trip job. Or, not job, we're just going to drive a car around, but I wonder what we're going to drive. You know what? I got an idea. Let's save the road trip job, or the road trip video, for after they do the big map update where they make everything bigger, especially if they do the coastal highway like I want them to. That'll be great, because then we can start down in San Diego and just take the coastal one all the way up to the Eureka. That'd be awesome. Anywho, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.